Welcome to the Weekly Rebound podcast, back again to break down another week of Legacy Leagues action. I'm your host, Connor Sauer, joined as always by my co-host, Greg Horn. Greg, I hope you didn't miss me too much while I was away. I missed a week, but I'm back now, better than ever. We're recording late, but nonetheless, how are you feeling for today's podcast, my man?
Well, there's a little lag there, so I'm gonna assume you asked how it was while you were away, and it was pretty good. You weren't the only one away. There were interns that didn't show up. There
Yep.
were a few players that didn't show up, but overall, I don't think much changed in really the outlook of the league. I think that these next few weeks are going to be more important in playoff seeding and who could be really a title contender.
Absolutely. So there's a connection issues over there, but Greg Horn just finds a way to fight through it, gets through it all. Got the Tropics jersey on, as always, repping hard for his boys. Greg, you know what the people are here for. We got a great episode on hand. We're going to get into the recap. We're going to get into all the power rankings and previews and prop bets and all the pick'ems for next week. But first, we have a surprise on the rise. And since I wasn't here, I'm not going to have a surprise on the rise. Greg's going to be doing most of the analyzing this episode, but Greg's going to start us off with his surprise on the rise for this week, which is going to be our only one. So, Greg, let me hear it.
My surprise on the rise is the bricklayers.
Let me hear it.
I think that the bricklayers are finding ways to have fun in this league and now compete. They lost to the Silly Senators 53-47. And I know what you're thinking, a loss is a loss, and yeah, it's a loss, but they could have won this game. And I think for a team like the Bricklayers, where we saw a team, I think it's even bigger surprise because we saw a team last year like Gentlemen's Club who just literally quit the league instead of just persevering and fighting for a win. Exactly. And the Bricklayers literally proved last week, or I guess last Monday because it's almost Monday now, but that you can win in this league. You just got to keep trying, keep working hard, keep playing hard. And from Jason Binder and these guys, they got something special. They can maybe get a win. I love what I'm seeing from the Bricklayers, man. I mean, it's awesome to see a team that started from the bottom and then they, you never know. They could really beat Scott's Tots.
Yeah, no, we definitely had them as huge underdogs in that game. We'll get into it now with the Week 5 recap. And since we're already talking about it, Greg, let's just bang this game out. Bricklayers and Silly Senators like we're talking about. Obviously, I wasn't there, but we set the spread before the game at 28.5 points in favor of obviously giving those points to the Bricklayers. And they only lose this game by 6 points. So just a true gritty effort. And Mike Castro alongside Jason Binder just, contributing 12 points, 11 rebounds. He's a huge guy. He's one of the bigger guys in the league. I think he can contribute down the stretch if he can give them double numbers like that consistently, huh, Greg?
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this team has to run through Mike Castro and Jason Binder. I mean, outside of as my Black Mouth falls, what? Look, just if you look at the box score, 27 points from Binder, 12 from Castro, and then there's 1 point from everyone else. Yeah. So this team has to run through them. They have to play aggressive. I think they kind of figured it out last game, where they both took 17 shots and no one else took more than 7. I think they figured out, hey, these two are big. Jason is especially athletic. They had a top play this week. A few of my HD clips of them throwing oops to each other. They're athletic. They're skilled. These two just need to keep gunning and keep shooting. They need to have that Russell Westbrook mentality, that Kobe mentality, and just jack shots up, go for it, because that's their best way of winning, because these two just need to go do that. As far as the Silly Senators go, they just need to keep playing basketball, keep doing their thing. I think they're starting to adjust to the league. They just need to start hitting their threes more. I mean, 2 for 16 from deep is not going to cut it. I think that, they have a very balanced team. They play well together, but again, they just need to get their 3-point shooting, and they need to improve it.
So I was watching the post game this week. Obviously, just trying to get my dose of Legacy Leagues action while I was away. And I saw you saying how you smoked me in the prop bets this week. So let's start off with the first prop bet right here.
Jason Binder, I had no idea.
Set at 8.5 by the expert Pro Vegas bookies over there, and that's us, Greg. And 8.5, you went just over with 10. I went over there. How'd you do on that pick? Did you go over or under?
I don't know.
Doesn't know. So we'll have to wind it back, and Greg's gonna have to try to figure it out. But
figure it out.
I went over, so I know I got that dub. So all this.
Wait, what was it? What was it again?
It was Jason Binder's rebounds. We set it at 8.5, and he had 10 rebounds.
I went over there.
I called over. All right, so then there you go. We're tied up at 1. So I'm waiting to hear where the smoke is. So let's get into the first game of the night, Greg. Obviously, not including the one that we already introed with the surprise on the rise and whatnot. So let's get into it, baby. We had Flint Tropics. Your boys got the jersey on, taking on Scott's Tots. Flint, I love these guys. They tweeted us before the game. What's the spread? I text them, or we posted up on Twitter. We say they're minus 20.5 point favorites. You know what they go out and do, Greg? They go out and they win by 21 points.
I mean, look, that's what Flint does. You know, Ryan Caggiano always comes up to me, shout out him, and he always goes, you know, telling me how he's covering on these bets, how he's never losing. You know, whoever Flint's bookie is who you need to get in contact with, because he's been regardless. You know, this Flint team is what the Silly Senders dream to be. They are well-rounded. They're all talented. They play well together. They all have fun out there. Even when they go 3 – see, this is what I'm talking about with Silly. Silly Senders go 2 of 13 from 3, and they barely scrape by. Flint goes 3 of 17 from 3, and they win by almost 21.
Yep.
It's just figuring out your game, and it'll come for Silly Senders because they're a young team. But this is what Flint does, from Nick to Mike to Dom to Matt to Tyler. I mean, again, I could go on and on from just how efficient these guys are in their roles. You got Matt. Matt kind of plays the hybrid guard, big guy role. Tyler Japs comes in and always gives them good minutes. Nick Japs is extremely underrated in the post. I mean, look, this Flint team is awesome. And as far as Scott's Tots goes, I think it was just an off game. I think they'll bounce back next week against the Bricklayers.
I like it. For Flint, I see that Nick Japs, you know, leading the team in scoring is a little bit surprising. Even though it was only by 1 point more than Mike Pizzuto, it was just like surprising when I went to see the box score and not see Mike Pizzuto at the top. But at the same time, seeing Nick Japs is like, oh yeah, like Nick could do that basically any given week. He's that talented and has the ability to, you know, just go off for 20 plus any given night. But 18 and 5 and a block and a steal for Nick, just a really solid quality effort in a game that was really well rounded for the Flint Tropics. And Matt Sear with the 3 blocks, that's my guy, just shining on that defensive end. Get that man on an all defensive team again. He deserves it. And another thing I saw on the box score is the Raffone brothers, Greg. They had a really good game for Scott's Tots, combined for way more than half their team's points. 25 out of the 44 points that the team scored were Noah and Jacob. So those guys definitely 2 crafty guards. They basically look exactly alike. They're like the twins out there putting on work.
Yeah, I hear one thing before we get to the prop bet. Joseph Carbone, you need to play better. Now, look, I think he's just going through the motions out there. I think he just doesn't care. It kind of looks like
it's like 2 for 14 this game, right?
But he's not bad at basketball. Like he has a good.
Not. You can tell. You can tell
he's just kind of just like going through the motions.
Yeah, he like takes it as a complete joke. But I mean, that's fine. But I mean,
he could eat, and they need him. I mean, they need him. They need him.
Someone on that team has to tell him like, "Yo, we need you."
But yeah, what was the prop bet?
So the prop bet in this one was our man Ryan Caggiano on May 3s. We set it at 1.5. We both probably drilled the over on this one.
Yeah,
Ryan was not feeling the 3 ball, and he didn't make any. So we both lost that one, Greg. So no smoke here in the traffic. But that was that one. So I think we're tied at 1-1 so far. Heading into the next game, Greg, was Nick Strong versus Redeem Team, which we thought was going to be a really quality game with single point spread. We had Nick Strong plus 8.5 point underdogs versus Redeem Team, and then they go out and cover that, and then some, obviously winning outright by a huge margin. But we got to allude to the main reason why. Redeem Team was playing with literally 3 players. I was really shocked when I was looking through the box score. I'm like, oh my God, Redeem got crushed by Nick Strong. So I click box score.
Yeah.
You see 3 guys on Redeem Team in box score, and you're like, oh, okay. And that's kind of disappointing for me because they had 3 guys last week, and they had to, like, you know, finesse a timeout like early in the game to get Melquan in when he just showed up late. So it's like they got to get their guys there and play because it's going to start costing them in the wins and loss record and might give them a tough seed heading into the playoffs, Greg.
No, yeah, I mean, look, this is a big win for Nick Strong because now
huge
they can
win.
Finish ahead of Redeem. You never know. I mean,
huge win,
especially with Redeem having to play Flint and Shocker City, I believe, coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, look, this Nick Strong team, no pun intended, man, they're coming on strong. Chris Leak was their 5th highest scorer.
Yeah, It looks like he was going through the motions.
Like they don't at this in this game they didn't even need him. Tavar Pierce is coming on into his own in this league and really starting to figure it out. He's figured out how to hit that corner three, and that has changed his game. The Vesicchio brothers are starting to play a lot more efficient. You're not seeing them yak 23s up a game. They still took 10 and 8, but they're not just taking as bad of shots. And then Ryan Florentine's one of the most efficient and unique players. He's like a 5-tool player in baseball. This man does it all. Anything you need from Ryan Florentine, he gets it done for you. And that's what this Nick Strong team does. They're talented. They're extremely versatile. They're maybe one of the best rebounding teams, if not the best in the league. And
J.J. Watts, dude.
Yeah,
they box them out. They box you out.
Yeah. And they're all hustling hard. I mean, I don't know. This team is going to be so hard to beat in the playoffs. Watch out.
Dude, all of their biceps are the size of my head. So, I mean, have fun trying to, box those guys out for a goal. It's not going to happen. There's a few guys in the league that can do it. We'll get into it, one of them. In one of these games, I want to talk about a big man who's just been balling recently. A little spoiler alert coming up. But, yeah, dude, this Nick Strong team, I don't want to, gloss over the fact that, they were playing against 3 guys. It was still a really good win. Everybody balled. It was a stomp down, kind of like, oh, you guys are playing man down, we're going to kill you type of game. You know what I'm saying? Instead of it being like a close game, because let's be real, the Redeem team, despite having 3 guys, had 3 ballers. And Dante, Melquan, and Eric, and they all put up really nice stat lines. Melquan with 29, Dante with 24. Singleton only had 11, didn't shoot the ball well, but he also had 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 4 steals. So even though his shot wasn't falling, typical Eric Singleton night where he just finds ways to contribute in other, departments of the score column, and that's where you find really good production and MVP caliber players like Eric Singleton. But nonetheless, a tough loss for Redeem team, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, look, love Eddie, love Redeem. They'll be back. They'll bounce back.
Get their guys out there.
They have a big game coming up against Shocker, and we'll see where they go from here. I believe in their team, I believe in their roster, and I believe in their talent. It's just they just got to put it together. That's
exactly right, Greg. Honestly, like that was well put right there, because we do believe in that team. They just got to show up and play. If they can't get everybody there to play, that's obviously right. It's going to be tough to catch wins that way. But Greg, the next game, baby, Shocker City squad. Oh yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Good job. Eric Singleton, we had his steals set at 3, and he had 4. So
I hammered over, I think.
Oh, I hammered the over.
Yeah, we
absolutely smashed it out of the roof. So there you go. I caught the win there. And so no smoke yet. So we're through 3 games. He smoked me in the prop bets, and
I'm smokeless.
All right.
I'm smokeless.
So let's keep going here. Shocker City versus Toon Squad. We had Shocker City minus 15.5 point favorites, and they covered. They covered by 4.5 points. So this was another good spread here. They went 81-61, winning by 20 over Toon Squad. Carmine 23 points on 62% shooting. He led all scorers, and Hernandez, the guy we were just talking about, balled out. I don't know if he was listening or not, but shout out Jason Hernandez, who stepped up into a big role, banging shots from outside, it looks like to me on the score column. 4-7 from deep, Greg, 19.6 boards, led the team with rebounding from the guard position while banging some threes. So a quality game from him to get over Chad McCoy and Jaden Battle. Just once again, not enough as a 2-man team to really take down a quality squad like Shocker City.
Wait, is it 89-61?
Was it 89-61?
It says 89-53.
Oh, I wrote down 81-61. I might have been wrong.
Unless the website's wrong, which the stats. Whatever.
I went according to the website.
Shocker City covered. That's not the moral of the story. Shocker City covered.
They did?
Yes. Whatever. But look, Carmine Santorelli is the topic of the discussion. He's having an MVP type season. He's becoming the guy Shocker City needs. Devon Pratt came back and showed you why he's one of the best players in this league. Like you said, Jason Hernandez is finally giving them what they need from him. He's banging threes. He's handling the ball. He's playing that scoring role, maybe not like their point guard playmaking role, but just a pure scorer, and he is just absolutely on fire right now. Pooch is starting to come into his own on this team, and I think him and David Armstrong are kind of having more understanding of spacing and where to play on the court. And then again, you got someone like Rel and Rzinski and Dev. And I mean, hey, Rzinski 2 for 2 from 3. If Rzinski's giving you 6 points a game, I mean, come on, like this Shocker City team, like that's how it goes. I said it last year. If Rzinski's going to be giving you 6, Shocker City's winning it all. And
you were right, Greg. By the way, with the score.
Oh, all right, but I mean, hey, Shocker covered regardless. I guess says more about Toon Squad, and they had a chance to make a statement win, and they didn't really, grab the bull by the horns. I guess. Toon Squad's a really good team. I just think that they're still kind of finding their footing in this league, and 3 from 12 from 3. It's not going to cut it against a 3-point heavy team like Shocker City, who hit 11 threes and was 40% on the night.
Yeah. Shocker has been reeling kind of, and they were in a low point in terms of Chris was like, I don't remember last time I lost, multiple games in a row. So, they had an opportunity to come down and really kick a team while they were down. And, they didn't do it. But you were right with the score, by the way. 81-61, the score that I referred to, was actually the score of last week's Shocker City game.
Oh, okay.
That's Run TMC. So when I was writing down the scores into my my notes here, I must have just wrote down the score from the wrong Shocker City game. So I'm glad you caught me on that. It was 89-53.
Oh, you'll be happy you mentioned that score.
But was I right with the score? Like, was that with I think I was looking at the right score columns, right? The Jason Hernandez ball?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, word. So I got all that stuff right. And Jaden Battle, 15 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks.
Yep.
And Chad McCoy, 20 points on 9 of 11 shooting, 5 boards, 2 blocks. This is the guy I want to talk about, dude. This is the big man I was referring to earlier in the pod there. It was just this kid right now. He's unstoppable against a team like this with Dave Armstrong and multiple bodies down low who could, equally, body up in terms of physicality against Chad, and he still put up numbers like that. If they just got some help around him and Jaden, I think they would be a problem.
No, yeah, I mean, Rzinski, I was talking to him, and he goes, yeah, like I'm literally down in there trying to get a rebound. All of a sudden, I see a huge shadow fly above me and just dunk. He's just like, all you got to do is shoot with him, and he'll put it back. I mean, he's a weapon in this league, and it's one of those things where they're like the rim breakers. They got to just figure it out, put it together, and they can be something special.
All right, Greg, so the prop here, I think this is the one that might have got you. And Jaden Battle's points scored set at 23.5 points. Did you go over or under?
I so went over.
And I went under, and I got it. 15 points. That's a banger. So Mr. Smoke, going into what? We got one more game, and the best you can do is tie. You smoked me in the prop bets. Gregory. Gregory, come on, my man.
Close your ears, kids. But
last game, Run TMC versus Sportslook. Run TMC wins 72-64. We had Run TMC -8, and it was an equal push. They absolutely drilled the spread, making us look like pros, Greg. But yeah, Reggie Stewart, 26 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. He's back. Slattery, 13 points on only 9 shot attempts. He led the team with 9 rebounds. Also tied the team in second behind Reggie with 2 dimes as well. So he basically is one of the top contributors in all of the most important stats that you can contribute to a basketball team. And I doubt you that he even did it with playing half the game. So what do you see when you see Mike Slattery out here balling for Run TMC and what he gives to this team?
I think he's one of the most underappreciated players in this league. I mean, what Mike Slattery can do on the defensive side as well. He can guard multiple positions. I mean, he can't guard a Dave Armstrong or a Chad McCoy or like a Dom Langston because like he's not that big, but he can guard 99% of players in this league just because he's long, he's athletic, and he's so smart. He doesn't take bad fouls. He's really adept at blocking shots. And then on the offensive side, he doesn't take a lot of threes. He took 2 threes, made one of them. I think he averages like 1 or 1.5 3 attempt a game. Like he's a smart player. And then right under him, Cody DiLeonardo, 10 points, 5 of 8 shooting, 62%. Another player who's going to play hard on the defensive end. And then on the offensive end, if you like every game, people go out there and think I can kind of take a play off against these guys. And then both of them will drive right by them and dunk on it. You can't sleep on this. I know when you see Run TMC, you think Reggie Stewart, you think Don Langston, you think Kevin Blake. But players that Joey brought in from Mike and obviously Cody a while back those are the players that win championships, because when Reggie has an off night or when Dom Langston has 4 points and takes 6 shots and misses all 3 of his threes, Cody and Slack give you 23 with 13 rebounds, 4 assists, a block, 2 blocks, and only 2 fouls in between them. It's just, their impact on the game is, I think it's just, they both should be all-stars.
Yeah, right. Like they might not both make it because you can only give so many guys from one team, and obviously when you're on a team with Reggie Stewart, he's basically a lock every single season to make the All-Star team. So we'll see who makes it, but you know that they'll have my votes because these kids, or these guys, I should say, they're definitely not kids, but you know what I'm saying. These dudes are balling out right now, and yeah, there's when you have interchangeable pieces like that, you can plug them in and play them at any position and get production out of them. It's such a luxury to have as a team. It's just you can take out Dom when he's having a rough night and throw Slat in there and just get awesome production, or you can put Cody in there and he's gonna be running the floor and grabbing rebounds and putting hammer dunks on people's heads. So they just bring such a level of energy and versatility to that team, and just provides that offense and defense with just a range of different weapons that they can deploy at any time. Yeah, exactly, two-way players, and it's two-way players at their best. Greg, the prop in this one.
Okay.
Reggie Stewart, 3-pointers made at 3.5. He goes over at 4. I bet we both drilled the over.
I honestly don't remember what we both did.
I think we both did. I mean, how could you not? But dude, he barely hit it at 4, so another good spread.
Good one, yeah, it's a good one. I mean, and shout out Sportsbook. They fought again. Jeff Norco said was calling. He wasn't too happy at Nick Vaccarella for getting that tee and missing the game. Because I mean, look at Sportsbook. They had 5 dudes, and Colin Marcus got hurt at the end of around the end of the 4th quarter. So classic Sportsbook. They had 4 dudes, and Sportsbook needs their full team. That's when they're at their best. It's the same thing with Flint. It's the same thing even with Shocker City and TMC. Redeem Team, same thing as this week. You guys need your full team, because this league's too fast paced and open, where it's like no one here is like LeBron James in his prime with stamina. You need breaks, you need rotations, and Sportsbook has too many talented players to play with only 4 guys. So I think it was just one of those. I think Sportsbook's going to bounce back, and they'll be perfectly fine going to the playoffs, led by Norco and Acevedo and Marconi and Corcoros.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jeff Norco, 13 points of 29% shooting. He did add 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals to kind of balance the fact that he wasn't his most efficient self. Yep. Nonetheless, still had a really good game. He's just an absolute tank, Jeff Norco. So, any last takes, Greg, on this game? Because this was like one of the more important games of the week in terms of seeding and stuff like that going forward.
I think that this was a big game for Run TMC. I think they're on such a confidence high. I mean, they beat Shocker City by 16, and they beat Sportslook. I mean, I think their confidence is so high right now. And when a team this talented has confidence with that, I think it's going to be very dangerous. So
there you go, Greg. That's it for the recap section of the show. Mr. Smoked me in the prop bets, lost in the prop bets. However, that makes sense. That's embarrassing. But let's keep it moving to the power rankings over here. We're gonna start at the bottom like we always do, Greg. Number 10, we got the Bricklayers. Lost this week to the team right above them at 9. Obviously, the Silly Senders. But
good having them.
Yeah, Silly Senders still just below Scott's Tots, only because they beat the worst team in the league. Who did Scott's Tots beat, Greg? Did they also beat the Bricklayers?
Scott's Tots one win was against Silly Senders, I believe. Yep.
So there you go. So it's only right to have Scott's Tots at 8, right?
Yep.
At number 7, we got Toon Squad. I think Toon Squad is the team that we have has the ability to move up, but picking up another L this week against a team ranked at 5 in Shocker City from last week. These 2 teams we had really close in the former power rankings. But yeah, we have 7. We have Toon Squad. Right? Who's at number 6?
Nick Strong, and again, another team with a hard schedule like Toon Squad, but they fought through it, and Nick Strong's looking better than they ever have.
Absolutely. So, Greg, these next three, 5, 4, and 3, was really where the most controversy lies. Referring back to last week's power rankings, the top two teams are basically set in stone for the moment, just for the moment, temporarily, with a 2-game lead over last week's teams. But Redeem Team, Sportslook, and Shocker City are all right now in like this little 3-team race for the 3, 4, and 5. Who's at 5 out of that group of 3, Greg?
Shocker City, baby. They got a big win. They're trending upwards. They're doing their thing. But right now, obviously, this will change if they can do something different. But I think right now, Shocker City just has to be at 5. They're starting to play better basketball, but coming off 2 straight losses, they were just obviously, it was just hard.
Yeah, definitely tough to move them up so suddenly after a quick lull that dragged them down the power rankings. But nonetheless, now that shows that they're back on the upswing, and get a couple more wins, and they'll definitely probably start moving up these rankings back to towards the top where they belong and where they should be. If it weren't for that that slow start to their season. But at number 4, Greg, we got Sportslook. A team that could have potentially moved down this week with the loss to Run TMC, but we have Run TMC ranked so high in the power rankings that a loss to them doesn't hurt you too much. But nonetheless, now Sportslook drop into 3 and 2, picking up some L's recently. Are they in trouble, Greg?
No, I don't think so. I think that they just need to get Nick Macarella stop getting texts, and they just need their guys to show up, and they'll be perfectly fine. They're too talented, and they're coming off a huge win against Shocker City. So Sportslook just needs to keep their head up and keep pushing and make the playoff push, and they'll be perfectly fine. Marconi's starting to fit in better. Acevedo's balling, and Jeff Norco is leading this team.
Another top team that fell this week at 3, Redeem Team, who's not dropping, surprisingly, from last week, also at number 3. So a 3-man team going out there, and they all balled. It just wasn't enough because obviously they didn't have enough bodies. I can't take them away too much for that. But if this becomes an inherent problem where they're not having enough bodies on a week-to-week basis, and we start to see this happen, maybe 1 or 2 more times, then we're going to have to start, implementing it into the way we rank these teams because, we got to bank on these guys showing up in order to get the Redeem Team that we want to see on the court, Greg.
No, yeah. It was the same thing with Sportslook a few seasons ago where we just kept – they were better than a few teams that were ahead of them in the power rankings. It's just they only had 4 guys. And that's really what it's going to come down to. Redeem just needs to bring their guys. They're way too talented of a team to not have them. And I know Eddie will they'll be there.
They'll be there. Yeah, Eddie's got to just get all the other guys to show up when he's not there, and they'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Like if Eddie misses a game or two, that's one thing. But Eddie's there most of the time. So when he's not there, it's like all of a sudden Eddie doesn't show up and they have 3 guys. It's like that's not fair to Eddie. That's a shitty feeling. So it's tough. Melquan's there. Even when he shows up late, Melquan's basically always there. Yep. Dante shows up with a hurt back to even watch his team play, and he shows up, to basically all the games as well. So you see the same group of guys. You just got to get the pieces to fill in around them, and they'll be fine. But Greg, the top 2 teams, Run TMC and the Flint Tropics. Yep. Who's that 2?
Run TMC. They're doing their thing. They're balling, and again, this number 1 ranking is up for debate this week. I mean. There's nothing really I can say. I can analyze all I want. It'll be played out on the court Monday night.
Yeah, so let's just talk about that game, Greg. The Week 6 preview. Let's get into it. Run TMC versus the Flint Tropics. Obviously, number 2, Run TMC versus number 1 ranked in our power rankings, the Flint Tropics. And if you actually compare our power rankings, I was looking at the standings this morning. They're actually very, very similar. There's like a one switch. I think it's Sportslook and Shocker City are flipped in the actual standings. And they basically be identical to what our power rankings are. But Run TMC taking on the Flint Tropics. This is for that number 1 spot. Run TMC we have at plus 1.5 point underdogs, Greg. Versus the Flint Tropics. Going to be minus 1.5 point favorites, obviously. I'm going to go with the Flint Tropics covering there. I think they'll win by a small margin. I see somewhere in the 3 to 8 point range. Flint Tropics win here. I know Joey's not going to like hearing that.
Yeah, I mean, Joey, fuck you think I'm going to say, Joey? Flint Nation, this is what the hell we do. Me, Connor, you get the invite. You're coming. After the win, no Wendy's 4 for 4. No McDonald's McChicken McSausage Southwestern style wrap. We're going restaurant. Me, you, the Japs brothers, Brewing, Caggiano, Brizzuto, the whole gang. We got TJ Gianni, me, you, and him. We'll get the little special stuff, and we'll be balling out. Joey, sorry you guys can't be invited. I'll be there. But maybe next time, Joey. Maybe next time.
Greg Sharp making his brief appearance on the pod, as always, his weekly appearance. Greg, the player prop in this one, we're going to put it on our boy Mike Slattery. We're putting the spotlight on Mike this episode. And in this game, his combined stocks, we're going to set it at 3.5. So, 2 blocks, 2 steals, that would cover, 3 blocks, 1 steal, something like that. I think he's going to go over here on that. I'm picking the over.
I agree. Over. He smashed that over. Bet the house on that.
Love it. Mike Slat, defensive savant.
Bet the cat on it.
Bet the cat on it. I love it. Greg's cat making an appearance on the pod. But yeah, and I've heard Mike say, it's like, yeah, I don't like making like too many blocks or something. When he made that crazy block earlier in the year, we were like, oh my God. Mike, he's like, yeah, I don't do that too often. But like he does make a lot of great defensive plays. I just don't think he gives himself enough credit for it. So we're gonna put a little player prop on his defense and see how he does. The next game, the Bricklayers taking on Scott's Tots. Bricklayers are going to be plus 18.5 point underdogs versus Scott's Tots here. Greg, it's tough to take a team when they're given that many points, but I think Scott's Tots actually has enough firepower to do it. I think I'm going to take Scott's to cover that 18.5.
Let's go Bricklayers. I'm picking the Bricklayers. I think that they are figuring it out, and I think they're just going to give the ball to their big boys and say, go eat, fellas.
So you got your Bricklayers plus 18.5 points to cover you as well. So it's actually not a bad pick at all. I can definitely see that one going really either way with the spread. In this one, Greg, the prop in this one is just going to be total rebounds in the game. We're setting it at 48.5 total rebounds. So both teams combined, all their rebounds, 48.5. I'm going to go over on that bet.
Hell no. These interns are not getting 48 rebounds. Under.
Wow.
All your bookie. Whoever's doing wait, I gotta see. Hold on. We're going a lot. Never mind. That's cheating. We're gonna check the Google Drive, see what intern was on stats. Maybe see if it was someone who
missed some rebounds. That's cheating.
Look, my thing is, it depends who's doing stats. It really does. So I'm going under. It depends what.
Make sure that I'm helping out the stat guy for that one. Greg, the next game we got Nick Strong versus Toon Squad. Nick Strong's gonna be minus 4.5 point underdogs, or actually Nick Strong's gonna be minus 4.5 point favorites. I'm sorry, versus Toon Squad plus 4.5 point underdogs. I'm gonna take Toon Squad to cover the 4.5 points here. I think maybe they might not win, but I think it'll be really close. And 4.5 points with a little bit of insurance, even if it's a close game at the end, basically locks it up. So I'm gonna take a Toon Squad to cover.
Nick Strong needs the big guy that they have in this game. If they don't have that big guy, Chad McCoy is going to absolutely eat. I don't know who's going to guard Chad McCoy if they don't have their big guy there.
He's not. I'm not saying that he's gonna shut him down, but I'm saying he's a big boy. He can do something.
Is he big or is he more athletic?
He's both. He's a big kid.
I don't know if I like that.
He's a big kid.
I don't know if I like that matchup.
I mean, I don't love the matchup, but I don't hate it either.
All right, yeah, I'll give it to you. I don't hate the matchup, but
like, it's kind of like playing like a guy like Kevin Durant at like the 4 in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like you shouldn't, but you could. You know what I'm saying?
He's
like,
big enough where he can.
Big enough where he can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think like Chris Leak's like big enough to at least like make it a little hard on him throughout the game. Like he's gonna get his easy buckets every here and there just from his physical force that he is. But I think Chris can wear him down because he's a very strong kid. I don't know if Chris Leak hits the gym, but he looks like he does. So definitely looks like he hits those weights because he's got the muscles to body up down low, and I think that'll be enough to at least wear him down over the course of the game.
I'm going Nick Strong though.
Going Nick Strong. So there you go. So another one, we're on opposite sides here. So Greg, you're gonna have to go back to all the pods like you always do and listen and keep track of these because it's getting good this week. Looks like we're going to be on the opposite sides of the fence most of the time here. Besides the player props, of course, I think we're agreeing on some of these. But your boy Tavar Pierce, his made threes, we're going to set the player prop in this one at 1.5 made threes. You told me he's been drilling threes. He was banging them last week. You told me. So we're putting this one at 1.5. If he hits 2 threes, he covers, Greg. You think he's going to hit that? I personally say he's going to hit the under. I think he only hits 1.
I'm going over.
You're going over.
I think that he hits 2. It'll be 2 corner threes.
Heard it here. Greg Horn. All right, Greg. Silly Senders versus Shocker City. We have Silly Senders plus 31.5 point underdogs versus Shocker City minus 31.5. I'm taking Shocker to still cover that enormous spread.
Me too. I have nothing else to say. Brendan, good luck.
Good luck, brother. Carmine Santarelli, field goal attempts. We're going to set the player prop in this one at 15.5 field goal attempts. So he's been kind of weirdly passive, not taking that a lot of shots. He just balled last week. He did it at a very efficient clip. 15 field goal attempts, 15.5. I'm going to go under here. I think he'll be somewhere in the 10 to 13 range at the most.
I'm going over. I think that Shockers come to an understanding. I think they're starting.
They need him.
I think they're starting to hit the right path. I think they're just figuring out how to play together. Mm-hmm. I think they're starting to hit it right into gear. And I mean, back-to-back weeks with 2 big wins. It's exactly what they need, and I think they're going to get it. And I think Carmine will have another big game.
So you're banking on Carmine jacking up shots. I think he's just going to get a lot of dimes like he normally does and be efficient with his scoring. But we'll see what happens. I'm going under. Greg's going over. So another one, we're on opposite sides. Heading into the last one, Greg, Redeem Team versus Sportslook. Redeem Team is going to be minus 4.5 point favorites. This is really based on a full team for Redeem Team. We're basically I'm imagining if everybody showed up to play Sportslook, they'd be a minus 4.5 point favorite if everybody for Sportslook showed up as well. So, both these teams have had trouble with all their guys showing up or getting obviously teched out of games. But we'll see what happens in this one in terms of who shows up to play for each side. If it's a smart man's pick, I'd go with Sportsbook just because I think that they're more likely to have their guys show up as what it looks like for a Redeem Team who's been shorthanded for multiple weeks now. This was a tough one for me to pick against Redeem Team, but I'm picking Sportsbook to cover. That doesn't mean that Redeem Team can't win. Obviously, giving 4.5 points to Sportsbook.
I'm going Redeem. I think Redeem, it's a big win. I think this is going to be Redeem's big statement win. Mm-hmm. I think Sportslook is, again, I think it'll be like a 1-2 point game. I think this will be a very good game. I'm thinking both teams will show up. And I think this will be a very close game. I think they kind of match up well. They got Melvin Horton is going to have to probably be on Brian Acevedo. They'll definitely get chirpy. And I honestly can't wait for this game. I think it's going to be a very fun matchup.
If you think it's going to be a 1 to 2 point game, wouldn't you pick the team that's getting 4.5 points?
Yeah, I think it'll be like a 5, maybe a 6 point win.
Oh, there you go. Change that. I love it, Greg. That's going to wrap it up, baby, for another episode here on the pod. Greg, before we go, we got to get your take on the madness that went down last night. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George on their way to the Clippers. I woke up to the first text on my phone from Greg Horn breaking the news for me at 7 o'clock in the morning when I looked at my phone. Shout out Greg. So my man, dude, what are your takes on that Brooklyn Nets guy? I know your team just got Kyrie and KD this past week, so I know you're loving the basketball world. What are your thoughts now on this madness in the offseason?
First I have to announce can't be a Nets fan anymore. I'm not going to have an NBA team. I'm going to root for D'Angelo's much success wherever he ends up.
I love it.
I can't be I just don't feel right being a Nets fan when I'm not a KD or Kyrie guy, and I was a fan for 1 year because of 2 years, because of D'Angelo. He's gone now. So much success to the Nets. I'm just going to enjoy the NBA for what it is.
You are a big Ohio State guy, right?
Yeah, so I love college basketball. We coming. Alonzo Gary. No, we'll get into that later. 2, I got a question for you before I'll answer next. who do you think wins the ship next year now with Kawhi and PG to the Clippers?
That's really tough, honestly, because my heart wants to say the Clippers because obviously they're the hype train right now, but that's tough. I'm a Celtics fan.
There's a lot of teams.
Yeah, I will say that the Clippers are probably at this moment in time the favorites to win it. Yeah.
I mean, the West is so stacked that it's almost like I feel like the East is what Bucks, Sixers, Celtics. I guess Nets maybe. But
it'll be interesting.
I don't know. I think I'm with you. I think what the Clippers did, they got Pat Bev, they got
Lou Will,
Landry Shamit's nice,
and that guy Zubac they got from the Lakers from earlier in the during the season. That was a good acquisition by them. I think he can be a starting center for them.
Those LA battles are going to be so fun to watch.
Oh, dude.
I can say that. I know that.
Exactly. All those 10:30 games on the East Coast are actually going to be worth the watch now.
Amen.
All right, Greg. So that's going to wrap it up for another episode here on the Weekly Rebound podcast. We thank you guys for tuning in, listening even this far, if you did, for our own little takes on the basketball world that we all love and we all watch. We all like analyzing on our own time. So, Greg, any final takes on the legacy leagues before we wrap up this episode for good?
Flint Nation. Sorry, Joey.
Flint Nation. That's it. So it's going to be a stacked house for Run TMC versus the Flint Tropics. 1 versus 2. We'll see you guys at In Sports. And as always, we'll see you guys next week on the pod. Thanks for tuning in.
Easy. Done.